What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to season 2 of MP Paranormal. A little different this time. We are in Bentonville, Arkansas. Found my way up here for me and my wife's wedding reception, so we figured we'd stop by and do something spooky. So we're here tonight at the Bentonville Historical Museum, which my grandfather, Randy Townsend, is a
member of the board of directors.
So nobody's ever investigated this place before. And we figured that we'd come around and ask and see if it was okay to investigate. There's a lot of Civil War relics, cannonballs, rapiers, pistols, things throughout history that might have some residual energy to them. So we figured we'd stop by and check it out. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the museum and all that good stuff?
Sure. The Bentonville History Museum occupies the old train station. Bentonville has quite a history for trying to get trains through the county and struggled to get one. This particular building used to be a two-story building, but it's a single story now, and it's the second one that Bentonville had. Built in, this was built around the turn of the century. Some of discuss some of the things we'll see here, or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. From Bentonville history goes all the way back from Native American occupation. This was their native hunting grounds for the Osage. They struggled with the Cherokee, some too, throughout the county. And in fact, white settlers were not allowed here until probably 1836. And the Native Americans go back as much as 4,000, 5,000, even some say as far back as 9,000 years. We're pretty close to the White River, which is nationally one of having the most artifacts, organic artifacts of early Native Americans in America, the whole of America. So Bentonville, then white settlers came here in early 1830s. Some could go back to 1825s, but they were here not supposed to be here. They were escorted out by the military, but then returned back because of they loved the area. So Bentonville was actually chosen as the county seat, was the same age as the county and the state, 1836. The town began to grow, and a couple of things that are really important, of course, is the Civil War. Bentonville was close to Pea Ridge, which was the largest battle west of the Mississippi River, sometimes called the Gettysburg of the West. The Pea Ridge battle actually started with skirmishes here in Bentonville. And there's an interesting story that occurred here. The town was eventually almost completely burned down. Only, I think, 11 buildings were left standing after that battle. And Bentonville was actually the first town in the war to be burned to the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many people died in Pea Ridge, like both sides?
The north, you'll hear different numbers, but the north about 1,200 casualties, and the south about 2,000 casualties. But all in all, there was something like 17,000 troops involved. And after the battle, Bentonville really suffered. There were estimates of 26,000 troops that wandered through the county, robbing, stealing, committing murders, and scavenging the area. So Bentonville really suffered.
So definitely some dark history that plagues Bentonville for sure. And how long did Pea Ridge last? So we had like...
The battle, March 6th, 7th, and 8th of 1862.
So all those casualties in 3 days?
Right, yeah.
That's insane.
There are descriptions of the battle in other archives that describe how terrible it was, how bloody a battle it was.
Yeah, so I appreciate that brief summary. Want to explain some of the stuff that we have all around here, just like bits and pieces, whatever you find like super interesting or things that catch your attention?
Sure. These are from a private collection, so we only have a couple of pieces actually from Bentonville. What happened in Bentonville was after the Battle of Pea Ridge, the Union won the battle, and they came back to Bentonville and replaced the Confederate flag and on their way to other areas. But one particular soldier came back early and the legend says, was scavenging for alcohol, for liquor.
Oh, of course.
And he was caught by some townspeople and killed, shot through the head. And once they did that, they didn't know what to do with him, so they stuffed him in an outhouse. And soon the Union troops came back through and searching for him, and they found him. And in retribution, they burned the town to the ground, including the courthouse, which was in the center of the square. Today, there's a fountain there, but the courthouse was in the center of the square.
And what proximity from like where we are now for where the town center was or expanded to? Like, was that close to here, or was
it was about 6 blocks north.
It was only a few hundred meters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that's interesting. I saw that you want to go to the next room and kind of show that what caught my attention was an electroshock therapy machine.
Sure.
If you want to explain that.
Yeah, sure.
This thing's really interesting.
This was donated by the Grimes family. And from the research, the historical research we have on it it's actually from a hospital mental institution in Little Rock. And we thought it was a defibrillator. It was with some other equipment that was associated with the funeral home, but don't get confused. The funeral home was also, the hearse was used as an ambulance. So the ambulance would go pick someone up and they try to revive them, and we thought it was a defibrillator, but in actuality it's a electroshock therapy machine that was used in the mental institution in Little Rock. Why it was here in Bentonville, other than some of the doctors were pretty progressive in their attempts at therapy for folks. So it's a good chance it was used here, but we're not sure.
Yeah, well, that caught my attention is because obviously, electroshock therapy was not a pleasant interaction, and I can imagine that an object like that causing so much pain and suffering may have some sort of residual energy to it. So I was just really curious about it.
Yeah, the paddles have been removed, but the little paddles, and of course, you can imagine being put that on your brain, trying to calm whatever evils a mental patient was having, is the pain involved or the distress. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
Yeah,
in medical science.
Thank you. So.
Well, yeah, you're having weird thoughts. Here's 1,000 volts of electricity. That'll set you straight. And this piano is really interesting. I've never seen like a type of piano like this.
Yeah, it's been converted originally. I think it was a pump organ, but it's converted to electricity. And we like for people to touch it and play with it. It was in the home of Dr. Jackson. His house still stands just a block away from here. He was date-wise, let's say from 1950s and 60s, and maybe earlier, I'm sorry. But right across the street was where Bentonville's first hospital was, and he was known as a kind doctor. The nurses could always tell when he was on duty because he would walk through the hospital whistling gospel tunes. But he was also a licensed hypnotist, so he practiced some more of these unique modern techniques
Yeah.
and therapies.
That's definitely interesting.
Yeah. We think his wife made him play the piano. He had a daughter that passed away early in her life, and I don't know if she played the piano or not either, but it's a wonderful piece of
History. Yeah.
history, early woodwork and design.
What would be interesting is there's a theory that these objects and these things, while may not be a present spirit in here, you can communicate with them through their objects because they invested so much passion and love and things, and that they have a connection to it. Not that we would be like stuck in, getting a spirit stuck in here or anything, but like that you can have like a fragment of them or like a piece of their spirit like talk through. So I'm really interested tonight to see like what we'll call him out.
Along with that, this is one that they've the people that touched it, the situations it was used in, and so it perhaps absorbed some of that early history in it.
No, for sure. And then there's one more bit in the back, right? The train depot history a little bit. There's like some train depot.
Yeah.
Let's go check that out. Got some high school yearbooks and stuff in here.
Barber shops every small town had a barber shop, and that was the gathering. The men's club, that was the gathering area for the men's. And this collection of cups is from the Elkhorn Barber Shop, one of the oldest, I'd say, organized barber shop. And originally started when one of the citizens of the town often traveled out east, and they discovered out east that they used mugs to mix their shaving cream because it was more sanitary. And so brought the idea back, and so it wasn't long until everybody decided, every prominent young man or older man decided they needed a cup too with their name on it. And so there are a lot of prominent names from the early 1900s there, maybe some from the late 1800s, but to the early 1900s. This is just a small portion of the collection too.
Oh, interesting. That's a lot of cups.
That's a lot of cups. Yeah.
And then this building was the centralized depot, like one of the original rail depots for Bentonville, correct?
Right. Bentonville tried for since the 1850s to get a railroad through from St. Louis to all the way to Fort Smith, and things you don't think that the rest of the world can touch you, but certain things happened. There was a big depression in the 1870s that our generation doesn't realize, and even the effects of the Crimean War, or the value of wheat and grains fell to nothing, and so the economy was in bad shape. So we couldn't raise enough money to get a railroad train through here. But eventually, one was brought through from St. Louis, but it ran in Rogers, and Rogers, I believe this was 1881, and so they got out of the railroad before we did. But it wasn't long until the citizens of Bentonville paid for a spur from Rogers to Bentonville, and it eventually then was picked up and taken all the way to Grove, Oklahoma. So, but railroads really struggled in the community. The great thing that kept them going was the fruit industry, the apple industry, particularly in Benton County. We were the biggest. We had more apple trees in Benton County than anywhere else in the world, and this was in the early 1900s. And so anyway, this was the depot for that spur that ran from Rogers to here. We had a trolley then that ran from down A Street all the way to a resort hotel at Park Springs. And there's lots of stories from that area too. It's still there. It's a park, but there's no resort or healing asylum there anymore.
Oh yeah, the famous 1800s healing places,
Yes.
just like mineral wells, healing waters,
Exactly,
healing
yeah,
things. Yeah.
exactly.
All the rage, snake oils and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
They advertised that their water was radioactive, and they had a spring for certain. The little valley that it's in has several little springs, and each of the springs was named as having healing waters for different parts of your body.
Oh yeah.
Stomach springs and kidney springs, and but then also the water was radioactive.
Right, and then they had to compete with Eureka Springs and the Crescent
Sure.
Hotel and all that stuff.
Sulphur Springs, Siloam Springs, yeah.
You know, everybody claims that the magic cure for everything back then. Brings business, brings money.
You bet.
Yeah.
There were, at one time, there were 1 million apples the time frame I was getting wrong here, but we shipped out in 1 year 1 million apples from this depot from on the train here.
Yeah, that's all. That's a cool thing about like towns like this and places people haven't investigated, because there's so much history that people don't know about, and that's why I'm glad we're doing this, because there's so many things about this town that you wouldn't know unless you came to this museum and asked you about it or read it in a book, and you don't know what kind of residual things exist in here.
And there's lots of quirky things happened here too. So a lot of weird and quirky things. So this could be fun.
Yeah. So nobody's ever investigated, and we're not sure if anything's going to happen, and you know how we roll. So if something cool happens, awesome. If not, we're going to have a great time doing it. So we'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see you soon. All right, so we are going to start tonight. I got my brother Ryan here, Grandpa Randy. We're going to start off tonight in the main room with all the Civil War artifacts. So my brother has the Spirit Talker. I have the GS2 here. And just so everybody sees, it is not mapping anything at the moment. And I have it hitting on the some Civil War weapons and a Confederate cap, because that's where we were getting some milligal hits on the EMF earlier. So that was really interesting. So I know nobody's ever investigated this place before. And I don't know. What did it say? Hot. And I know there may not even be any spirits in here. We're not sure because nobody's ever investigated, but there's a lot of items in here that have significant historical relevancy. So maybe something residual, maybe you are something intelligent. I have a device here on this stool that will let me know that you're here. We have the Spirit Talker going. So if you want to come out and communicate with us, please feel free. We're not here to do you any harm. We're here purely out of curiosity. So please, if you have a name, if you want to make a sound, anything like that, go ahead. I'll take your lead on what you said. It was hot. Can you give us something a little bit more on that? Anything you want to say?
Johnson.
Johnson. Does the name ring a bell? Anything to you? Said Johnson. Does that name ring a bell?
Wow, that's a pretty common name,
Yeah.
Johnson. Even
What's that? Not friendly? Sure. I'm sure. What do you mean you're not friendly, Mr. Johnson?
Mrs. Johnson.
I hear the Spirit Talker say not friendly a lot, so kind of hard for me to believe. Your phone's still on airplane mode, right?
Correct.
There's some sort of unfriendly Confederate spirit, Union spirit that's here. Maybe attached to some of these weapons or artifacts. It's real quiet. Jones? Jones Johnson?
So calm.
Yeah. Jones Johnson.
Sounds very Civil War name.
Did you say something? After you said real common, have you said anything since then? I don't think you did. I could have sworn, could have just put my headphones out to review it when we get home. But I could have sworn I heard a woman's voice whisper into the microphone. I don't know.
Are you one?
We didn't cover this stuff, but this is from the People's Bank downtown. There was a bank robbery at the People's Bank, and they stood one man at the battery. One man stood at the entrance to the bank, and he would shoot with a rifle, and he'd shoot in all different directions just to keep the people away. He wasn't trying to hit anybody. And but instead, the citizens went home, got guns, and came back, or they had guns in their businesses and started shooting at him. And by the time the gang got away, they got away with it was Henry Starr. They got away with about $10,000, and the posse that went after him had to give up because they were fired at. So, anyway, the fellow that was at the entrance to the bank was. They described him as being shot to rags. He was hit so many times and I don't know if he survived or not.
Interesting. Is it a battery though, right?
But yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Her voice.
What did it say?
Her voice.
I heard her voice.
Interesting.
They held.
Let us watch again closely at this chain of events. As Grandpa Randy recounts the history of the location, we get a flurry of activity from disembodied voices, the spirit talker validating those voices, and a series of light anomalies manifesting towards Grandpa Randy and then leaving from his body. Since this place has never been investigated, could these be the spirits enjoying their tales being recounted?
Interesting.
They held, I believe, two of the tellers hostages and headed down the street with them. And in the newspaper office just next door,
I'm reaching out.
the secretary in the newspaper office opened the door, reached down and grabbed one of the guys that was carrying.
Reached out.
Yeah, and that's what she just said. But he had $2,000 worth of. If you can imagine how much that weighed, $2,000 worth of. And she pulled him into the shop, shut the door and locked it, and that was enough money for the bank to open back up the next day. But she was the town hero.
Huh.
Is that who you're talking about? The battery, a conflict?
Out.
Out.
I mean, I have a battery in my camera, but that's pretty subjectively associated.
Yeah, but battery could also mean
Assault?
yeah. Not friendly, hot battery.
Of course, the town was burned down too. I don't know that hot.
Were you here when the town burned up? Or when the bank got robbed? Or did you work here?
Are you attached to this bank teller's table? Yeah, it's interesting. Cashier. Why does it say Ask T? Oh, assistant. Assistant cashier. Why does it say Ask T? Oh, assistant. Assistant cashier. Oh, is that like the story?
Stone.
Yeah.
Stone.
The lady that saved the money was Maggie Wood.
Maggie Wood.
Does that ring a bell?
There's a picture of her on the wall too.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Is that a picture of the train depot?
This is the canning factory. There's the train depot right there. It's painting.
Well, I swear I could have heard a woman talk to me in the microphone. I swear I just thought I saw that ping by the thing. Anyways, did I hear a woman's voice? Are you reaching out? Are you talking about the bank robbery? Are you saying you're reaching out to us? Because I could have sworn I heard you. Are you Maggie? Who are you?
Light.
Like,
I do have my light on. Do you prefer not the light? Do you prefer the darkness? Or were you coming towards the light? Is that what you're looking for? And remember, everybody, the Spirit Talker works off of RF signals. My phone's on using the app, and Ryan's phone's off in his pocket, and Randy's way over here. So whatever's coming through is either auto-generated by the app or something's manipulating it. And it's been pretty interesting so far. Do you want to try some simple communication? Can you knock? Just like that? Maybe you can walk down the hallway.
No, not here.
No, not here. Meaning that you can't physically interact here? Is that what you mean? Or what? It's interesting though. It's like an answer. Like, can you knock? No, not here. I don't know.
oddly specific.
Yeah. What about the laser grid? So there is Ryan on the device there. Can you come stand behind him or something like that? Get a little closer to that device.
caught you earlier.
Are you the transient energy that we were picking up on the EMF detector? We got those 10 spikes, 4, 6 milligal spikes. Was that you?
Twins.
Twins. You talking about us? We're not twins. Close brothers, but not twins. So bad, I just want to see like this thing like light up behind you. I give my leg.
Which twin? Jones or Johnson? Are you just passing through here?
Keep going.
Keep going. Maybe you keep going asking that line of questions?
Were you somewhere in the town when you died? The fire, any part of a battle, a scuffle, a bank robbery.
Mortuary.
What was that word?
Mortuary?
Mortuary? I've never seen that word come up on the Spirit Talker. Can I see it? Mortuary.
I might have to look that one up.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. You ever heard that word before?
Well, it's close to mortuary. But, mortuary.
Mortuary.
Stand by.
Yeah.
Mortuary, France.
It's a place?
Would seem so.
Is Jones or Johnson, is that like are you French or something? Is that where you hail from? Is there some?
Yeah, it could be like Irish surname. Are you from France?
There's like the slightest.
There was one soldier from Bentonville killed.
Christine.
Christine.
Christine. Killed in World War I, and he's still buried in France.
Freeze.
Huh?
Freeze.
From hot to freeze.
That's weird. That, alright, no, I can't even say this because people are gonna be like, you're full of crap. No, like, well, you said freeze, but maybe like I'm standing underneath the air conditioning vent, but it got cold before I even said anything about it. But it could just be my mind playing tricks on me. But you said so there's a Bentonville soldier who died in World War I that's buried in France.
Yes, but his name was Hutchison. There was another one that died in World War I from Bentonville. He died in Louisiana from the Spanish flu, or complications of the Spanish flu. He's buried. His name was Riddle, but so Johnson or Jones don't fit in there.
Yeah.
Associated with France, anyway.
Yeah.
I lied to you.
About what? What'd you lie about? That you're not friendly? You seem friendly.
I turned the lights out. Maybe you like it better in the dark. You said light earlier, so it makes me think that you didn't like the light. So. Is this better?
You stuck here? Did you get trapped in a fire here? Fact.
Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Interesting.
FAT.
Fact.
Fact.
It said, did you get stuck in a fire here? Are you stuck? It said fact.
This long picture up here is the canning factory, which would have been almost connected to this building, but on the other side, extending the whole way. When the canning factory closed, it was a feather factory for a while, and because of the poultry industry around, and it completely burned down at one
All
time.
this.
All this?
I thought it said all dust, and I was like, whoa. Like, burn down, all dust. Aldous. Sounds like a foreigner. Did you have a lot of immigrants and stuff coming to Bentonville into the early 1900s? Not really.
Well, essentially everybody was an immigrant.
True.
Lots of families from Tennessee and Kentucky, and they took the long way around through Iowa and Kansas.
Are you talking about Aldous Huxley?
Who's that?
It's an English writer.
Is he from around here?
Philosopher.
Animal Farm.
About the Animal Farm is about the exposure of the inhuman rights of industry.
The book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're talking about a factory fire here.
There's also a very loud tap that I just heard.
Yeah, that was
chair
one.
shifting.
The others mean harm.
What others?
What others?
Is there people here you don't trust? Yeah, Aldous Huxley warned about the harmful effects of expansion and development of a capitalist ideology can impose on society. Hence, an example in loss of life via industry. I wouldn't call that a reach.
This was of course, main entrance for in the ticket booth and all. The next room was it was segregated. So the next room was the white waiting room, and the next smaller room was the black waiting room. And then the far room that we were in, where the mugs and all were, was the baggage and shipping area.
Interesting.
So I don't know if, interesting things happened in the waiting rooms. There was, as far as I know, there was no toilet in here. So there was no division of black and white for use of the facilities.
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
You too.
thank you.
Thank you.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
That's weird that it fired that fast. Heard what? Got my ankle popping. We might have missed it, so could you do it again?
Are you stuck in a memory? Do you hear that click?
My foot?
No, top left, up in the corner of the room.
Well, I did hear that clang a bit ago, and a lot of the time spirits will have like delayed responses, like they're almost like there's like a buffer between this world and ours.
There's it happened again.
I did actually hear that one that time. It always happens when you're talking.
Can you do it again? I did hear that. It was anti-rhythmic, the clock.
Which weird. You're not moving around. The jizz too.
Died very recently.
Died very recently.
What the?
In the area around here?
You had to have heard that.
What? I didn't hear anything.
Did you exhale or go up?
We absolutely had to review this portion of evidence. This may very well be the first physical manifestation captured on film for MP Paranormal. Watch again after we hear a very chilling and disturbing sound, followed by a physical manifestation that we have concluded is not Dylan's hand or any other explainable phenomena. The only way we can describe this is a tangible mass that we simply do not understand.
The jizz too.
Died very recently.
Died very recently.
What the?
In the area around here?
You had to have heard that.
What? I didn't hear anything.
Did you exhale or go huh, or like go whoa or something like that or go huh?
I don't think so. I might have, but I
Maybe I would.
don't think so.
It's hard to tell with the audio because it's like that stone, so it like bounces.
How did you die?
That was weird.
Or who died recently? How?
You know, also sometimes they shift coffins, deceased people on the train. They would have come through here.
Interesting. I don't know, I was staring down this hallway and it's like something's looking back at me.
You see us? You shy?
I don't want to influence you, but come over here real quick. In the back of the room.
Definitely.
Does it feel weird? It's like someone's standing back there, like staring at me. Like we're watching each other.
Yeah.
That's where I heard the noise come from, back there. Did I hear you back there?
Yo, that just went up. That 100%.
Hear us whisper.
Hear us whisper.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I heard.
That just went on. I just got up.
It pinged?
Yeah, 100%. Are you playing games with us?
Yeah, you a trickster?
Games are fun.
Yeah, I heard it go, ugh. Come from like back there, I swear to you. I don't know if it was you though, because you said something, and then you might have.
So, but I mean, we literally looked down the hallway and it said, "Hear us whisper."
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
scary here.
Oh, I wouldn't say so. Are you scared of something?
Something scary happen here to you, or that you know about? The cannonballs and the guns and the swords are pretty scary.
Watch your eyes.
Ask how old she is or he is.
How old are you? Or were you? Like I'd already walked past that. I was standing next to you for like 20 seconds before I turned around and saw it register.
No, I was gonna say I'm not tired or anything, but I feel like that something energetically has shifted, and I would just say that on a whim.
Feels a little heavier in here.
A little bit, like I'm almost dizzy a little bit. Could be just the darkness, but back there stripped me out though. It's like someone's just like watching me, like heavy.
Phantom.
A phantom?
Sure. So you know you're a phantom? Or
There's many others.
that's exactly what I was gonna ask. Okay. Are you all going about your day to day? Is it just a normal day? Or you got a bad feeling about something? Or are you scared? What's behind me displayed over there?
The safe, money bag. Well, I was gonna say because I was watching it picked up on you, and then it was like pinging something, but it wasn't anything that caught my attention to film. It was just like a dot. Could be anything, honestly. Feel some type of way.
No, it's just when I
Demonstrate.
demonstrate what? I appreciate your demonstration so far.
Yeah, please demonstrate something. I'd love that. Make these dresses over here swing or something. Make them move back and forth. That'd be pretty cool.
If you feel like it.
Yeah. No pressure. That'd be so awesome. All right, so got some pretty good activity in here so far. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down for a second and figure out what we're gonna do following this. But so far, pleasantly surprised by the responses we've been getting from the spirit talker. So we will be right back. What's going on, everybody? So just finished up editing this video, and after talking to Brian, we made the decision that we're gonna take this investigation and we're gonna turn it into a 2-part video, just because we had so much good evidence. We don't want to short y'all on anything and want to make the most quality video that we possibly can. So if we were to take all the video we took from that night and put it into one video, we'd be looking at like a 2-hour long video, and we don't want to do that to y'all. So if you enjoyed this video and you support what we're doing, make sure that you drop a like, leave a comment about what you did like about the video. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the video. It helps us out a lot. You have no idea how much it helps to get the algorithm going and to get our content out there, because we think we have some really awesome content that we think the world should see. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, that would really help support our channel. And until next time, see ya.